What's going on, guys? Pepperbelly here, bringing you another gameplay commentary of Splinter Cell Conviction's Deniable Ops, and this time we are playing, well, I am playing, Last Stand in the game mode. So the game mode Last Stand is basically where there's an EMP on either map. Every map that's in the game is available to play. There's two versions of it, so there's two different sections in each map. So like right now I'm on St. Petersburg Banya, and there's one version of it and a second version of it. I'm playing on the second version right now, and basically the whole objective is to defend, much like Horde or Firefight, in the defensive postures, like the generator defense, something like that. You have to basically defend this EMP from waves and waves of enemies. To be quite frank, this game mode does not promote whatsoever stealth. I mean, by yourself, and you'll see, I just sit up here going on an all-out assault, just shooting everyone in the head. I mean, there's really no point to being stealthy here, and plus this map is really set up for it because, I mean, I just stay on top of the EMP's like little canopy thing and just stand here taking out targets, and you know, I'm doing it in my really badass space ninja uniform, yeah, because it looks really cool, right? Not really, but it's the assault armor of the third echelon, so, well, covert slash assault armor used for both. Either way, it has a helmet. It looks like a space ninja, so I don't really know what to say about that, but I guess you can say it's badass, just it's not realistic in the context of Splinter Cell. And speaking about the series, I wanted to mention how Splinter Cell really changed from the, you know, I've mentioned it previously in my last video. Splinter Cell is completely different now, and they've actually kind of went backwards with the series. You know, while I'm giving you something nice to watch here, I'm going to be talking about what I really dislike about this game. Okay, for what it is though, so let me get this out of the way first. For what the game is, Splinter Cell is amazing. Alright, well this game, okay, the way I see it is, it's like a Jason Bourne type thing, you know, it's not really Splinter Cell-ish, so to me, it would have made more sense if this game, if it didn't have the Splinter Cell name. Everyone would think this game's amazing, right? People would be like, this game's like a mix of Rainbow Six slash Splinter Cell slash Jason Bourne, you know, something like that. People would be thinking that instead of, you know, this is a very terrible Splinter Cell game. So if this had a different name, a different context, not Splinter or not Sam Fisher at all, you know, maybe just different, like altogether, the Deniable Ops, everything exactly the same, people would still think this game's amazing. But since it's a Splinter Cell game and people are expecting Splinter Cell gameplay, a lot of people, including myself, being a longtime fan of the series, was actually really disappointed with what they did with this game. Now, it's not, like I said, it's not a bad game. You know, let's just get that out of the way. It's an amazing game for what it is. All right, so it's a standalone for what it is. It's amazing, you know. But since it harbors the name Splinter Cell, it seemed to have gone stray from the Splinter Cell gameplay that it's had. Okay, like a lot of the things they eliminated, which was being able to pick up items around the map and using that, you know. I find myself way too many times being forced to having to kill someone or have to like eliminate lots of enemies. You know, the mark and execute thing is a nice touch, but I mean, whatever happened to not having to use guns? I mean, it was possible to go through an entire mission without having to use a weapon, without having to confront a single person, unless it's like obviously a target of interest. Go through the whole game, or that whole mission, just not even dealing with anyone, just sneaking past everyone. Just the challenge of not being spotted alone was awesome. Now it's like, okay, there's a whole bunch of guys and the only pathway that you can go. And that happens too many times in this game. And unlike the previous games where you can actually have, there's different methods and routes you can take. And it's really up to the player and their style too. Like, it did harbor action back in the day. You know, action was not like, okay, if you want to go blow something up, you know, that was your choice. You could do it, or you can use a different tactic. That's what the old Splinter Cell games offered, diversity in tactics. Now it's just like, okay, run and gun, kill the shit out of everything, slide into cover. If you're behind cover, you're invincible, right? So it's like, that's what I find stupid about most cover-based games, is like a lot of the times the AI isn't smart enough to flush you out with grenades or do anything. In this game, there is some surprises. They do occasionally flank you. But usually it's because when I get spotted, the waves come up from behind. But in single player, it wasn't much of an issue. And, you know, if you're behind cover, bam, you can kill everyone without an issue. I mean, you shoot everyone, hide behind cover, there you go. Wait for your health to recharge, kill everyone else again. In the previous Splinter Cell games, there was no health recharging except for the double agent on the 360. That was different. That was something new they did. But in the old games, there was no regenerating health. So basically, it's like you had to make your shots count. You had to stay stealthy, and you had to find first aid kits. And those are one of the things I miss about the old Splinter Cell games, especially the signature moves Sam Fisher had. Like whatever happened to hanging from a pipe and snapping someone's neck hanging upside down, you know, or like doing a split jump and then jumping down on top of someone, like, you know, teabagging them in the face by dropping your balls on their head, and you know, like whatever happened to that stuff. That's what defines Splinter Cell, you know, and the signature moves of being able to run up to someone and choose whether or not you're going to stab them or knock them out. Which is another thing, they removed the knife, and you know, the knife was what made Chaos Theory and Double Agent like that much better than the previous Splinter Cell games, which were already phenomenal enough as it is. So I don't know why they decided to get rid of the knife. Yeah, sure, they have really cool hand-to-hand combat moves, but I mean, think about it. If they can do that with hand-to-hand combat, imagine how much cooler it would be if like they just threw a knife in the equation, you know? It'd be like some crazy Riddick shit going on. If you played Riddick, you know, the Chronicles of Riddick, you'd know what I'm talking about. You'd just do some crazy, like, devour your enemy with a knife. I don't even know. It'd be pretty cool to see, but, you know, like slicing someone's throat or stabbing them repeatedly or just, you know, jumping up behind them and sticking it in their throat or something. You know, just something like realistic context for what these guys actually do. Instead, it's just like snap necks, punch in the throat, you know, stuff like that, or just shoot them. If you have your pistol equipped, you'll do like a move where you, it ends up usually you shooting them. If you holster your weapon and you go after them with melees, usually it results in snapping their neck, elbowing them in the chest or in the throat. You know, just moves like that would generally like would take a target out hand to hand. If you have your weapon, usually he'll use his weapon, and you know, although that's really cool and beneficial to the player, it just there's so many things about the old Splinter Cell games that I preferred. Like the left trigger and right trigger thing, where left trigger was, you know, you would knock someone out. Right triggers when you would stab them in the face or kill them. You know, same with the interrogations. You'd be interrogating the person. You press left trigger, you'll put them to sleep. Right trigger, you'll kill them. And I really missed the percentage thing, ratings you get at the end of every mission. You know, like if you did really good, you get 100%. Like if you did 100% on the mission, there you go. If you did bad, you get a lower rating. And I really missed that because it gave you a challenge and gave you ideas of how you should complete the missions. Because when you look at the challenges of what you're supposed to do, clearly you're gonna know if you fail or not. Another issue is the lockpicking. There's so many things they took out of the game, like lockpicking is no longer there, hacking computers in the missions and doing all kinds of stuff to figure out. And you think it would, since Sam Fisher's trying to figure stuff out about himself and get himself clear his name, but really, you know, he would have to like hack computers and do stuff like that. But yet it's not in this game. You know, they took so many things out, and I wish they just would have left it well enough alone. The game is amazing. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it for what it is, so appreciate it for what it is, but we're hoping that in the next Splinter Cell game they will go back to their old ways and remember us hardcore Splinter Cell fans who actually admired the game for what it was and its challengingness. And I'm about to get killed. Hell yeah. Anyway, so that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate with a thumbs up and subscribe. Talk to you guys later.